That's $10 million from me to you.
He's the fifth richest man in the world, the biggest foreign investor in America, and a major shareholder in the world's best-known brands. He meets global leaders and business icons. So why is so little known about Prince AlWaleed? The World Trade Center Twin Towers lay smoldering 1 month after being struck down in a terrorist attack involving Arab hijackers, many of them from Saudi Arabia. America was still in shock. Prince AlWaleed flew in from his home in the Saudi capital, Riyadh, for just a day to express his sympathy and offer some help.
Thank you. I'm here to give my condolences to you and to all the families and to show our alliance with you and sympathy and support.
He toured Ground Zero with New York's Mayor Rudolph Giuliani at a time when the city was consumed with anger at the Arab world.
That's number one here.
Number one, up 104 stories.
Prince AlWaleed had most of his $20 billion empire lodged in the US economy and carried with him a large check for the victims and families.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I'm not going to take much of your time. I know you're so busy. I came all the way from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, just to see you and give my contribution personally to you right now for the people in New York, and hopefully it will help alleviate as much as you can under your leadership.
Well, we need your help.
And that's $10 million from me to you. And please, we'll be in touch for anything that you may need.
And we very much need your help and your support.
All was going well until the prince issued a press release that created a controversial media storm. The line that most upset the New York mayor stated, "We must address some of the issues that led to such a criminal attack and adopt a more balanced stance to the Palestinian cause." Giuliani rejected the $10 million check and publicly criticized the prince for making a political statement. The aftermath of the 9/11 attack was the first time I took notice of the name AlWaleed Bin Talal, and I wanted to find out more. The prince agreed to give me an exclusive and candid look at his life over 1 year. So I traveled to the south of France, where he was taking his summer vacation. We began with a tour of his huge floating palace with 5 KR.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
These are the flags of the companies involved in.
Okay.
All these. These are the companies we're involved with. All these. And nationally, regionally, internationally.
Are they growing or shrinking?
Well, most of them are growing, thanks God.
Okay. Excellent. I mean, is the number of flags growing? Or?
If they don't grow, I don't grow.
And where else do you find? Where do you find refuge in this boat? Where is your sort of quiet spot?
Oh, there's no quiet spot here at all. I mean, there's no quiet spot at all.
Always busy.
And Jensen's parachuting right now.
Ah, okay, that's Mike.
He's parachuting. He began already.
And how much did you pay for it?
Well, a very bargain price. It's less than $20 million.
Less than 20 million?
Yeah, because actually the insurance value of this boat is more than $100 million. It was a bargain at that time.
So you're doing business even with your pleasure items?
Well, sure. I mean, myself, I would not build, at that time, I would not build it. But it came at a really bargain price, so I did it.
It has a bit of a history, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely, yes. It was owned by Adnan Khashoggi and then by Trump. And Sultan Brunei also owned it for a short while.
I understand it was in a film as well?
Oh, yes, it was a film, yeah.
The James Bond.
James Bond, yeah.
That was Never Say Never Again, and it certainly feels like you're walking through the set of a James Bond movie when you're on a 5-story boat of this size. It costs $6 million a year just to maintain it.
I do water skiing, I swim, I walk, I jog, and volleyball, tennis, basketball, everything.
And how much do you encourage that kind of activity within your staff?
Oh, very much so. You've seen, all of them began with me and they ended with me. So they're all fit. One or two of them smoke once in a while.
The lifestyle on this boat is distinctly Western and seems far removed from the prince's Saudi roots. But he's very much at home in this culture too. It may be because he started coming to Cannes with his father more than 30 years ago. It's since become the destination for the Arab elite. And now, as a self-made billionaire, he makes sure he has everything he could possibly need.
And this helicopter, is named after my daughter, Reem. And we use it sometimes. If we need to go to a close-by destination from Cannes, we just have a shortcut rather than going for 2-3 hours by car. Just go do it 15 minutes with this one.
So the desert prince feels at home on the sea as well?
Or really, anywhere where you have nature, whether it's the sea, the snow, or desert, I feel at home, really. I like it. Finished, Jensen?
You said it was great.
7 6 ونص اوكي 11 12 ونص اوكي الفقرات فيديو كليب 8
Among a small group of guests invited to join the Prince on the 5K hour every summer, one stands out in particular. I was curious to know how a Californian by the name of Chuck ended up in the entourage of a Saudi royal.
Well, I met the Prince when I was in working in a big department store back in California. And he came in one morning and he was looking for some merchandise in another area in which I wasn't working. And that's how we became connected. And he called me later on that evening and I went over to his home in Atherton, California. And I came over with equipment of music, stereo equipment. And we stayed up, His Highness and myself, until 5 a.m. setting up all the merchandise.
As I would discover to my cost, the Prince likes to stay up all night, reading extensively and making international business calls, and his entourage is expected to keep up. We set off for the shore in the late evening to have 4 hours of business and social meetings in cafes, but not before Prince AlWaleed's regular power walk along the promenade.
How do people react to you when you're walking with an entourage? You have bodyguards with you. You walk through quite a public area. How do you find people react to you?
I think they're used to that now. I mean, these are not only bodyguards and entourages, these are friends also. You know, I really like the Mediterranean. Plus, Cannes is centrally located. From here, you can go within 12 hours to Italy, you can go to Spain, Corsica, Sardinia, all within 12 hours on my boat. Press them very hard to have this meeting so we can really have this Fairmont Plaza and the Meridian meetings all the same day. Okay, we're ready. Thank you. See you then. See you in Paris. لا وقفت لي.
The Prince survives on about 5 hours of sleep daily, getting up at around 11 o'clock in the morning. His long days help him to keep across the world's financial markets and give him time to pack in meetings, exercise, dining, and lots of reading.
I cannot switch off at all because we are working on so many fronts and they all need close and continuous attention. And I don't mind it, I like it. And frankly speaking, to me there's no vacation completely.
As his doctor, don't you worry about his health?
His health is excellent. He is in excellent health. We do checkups every year. Everything is excellent.
For the staff, keeping up with their boss is quite a challenge.
I know how to cope with His Royal Highness. I know when to have 10 minutes sleep when I can have it in order to keep on going. If I have 2 hours of non-stop things to do.
The Prince has constant meetings on the yacht. On this occasion, he'd gathered top executives from the Arab music industry. After acquiring full ownership of the Rotana label, he wanted to launch a music channel to spotlight his large list of top recording artists. Within a year, Rotana was a smash hit with 3 channels on air.
The Prince selected the right people for it. Plus, he was involved directly in each and every small detail. And you know how energetic he is and how dedicated he is when doing something. He's very picky and he follows every small detail. And I think this is what made the success.
We have to do something to solve it.
And your account runs into the billions, around 20 billion in your case. Can you actually spend the money as fast as you make it?
No, not really. I mean, when you say $20 billion, that's the total wealth I have. But obviously, if a guy's income from that, let's say, is around $500, $600 million every year, for sure he can spend it on personal basis. But obviously, he can reinvest it into projects, into buying more companies that need assistance and help, and create more wealth, obviously.
The scale of your vacation as you take it, though, are you able to say what you spend on a vacation like this?
I spend quite a bit.
No details?
No, I spend quite a bit, but you know, the important thing is that I'm happy, my family is happy, and the people around me are happy.
It's the end of the visit to Cannes, and AlWaleed and his son, Prince Khalid, go through the tradition of saying goodbye to the crew. Over the next 11 months, they'll clean, polish and maintain the yacht to ensure it's ready for the royal arrival next summer. It's hard to imagine, but the prince has now outgrown this vessel, and he already has the next one on the drawing board. More than twice the size of the 5KR, it accommodates at least 2 helicopters, and the prince has planned it to be the biggest and most expensive private yacht in the world.
Excuse me, air condition please.
AlWaleed likes to travel with his people, whether in a regular tourist coach or in what at first appears to be a regular Boeing 767. This type of airliner usually hauls about 200 people across continents in relative comfort. But after a refit, the Prince has his own version of first class.
From 2.6 to 3.2, مش كده؟
It's a short hop to Paris, but with a crew of 9 and a growing staff, legroom's getting tight. So the Prince is refitting a 747, Kingdom style. But even up here, he can still find a corner for his prayers. Chuck gets nervous in turbulence, and the Prince is quick to tease him about it.
Shadi!